Hello and welcome to this video. Today we were going to be talking about our favourite anime. New camera, do you notice? Oh well. Anyway, let's get right into it. So, favourite anime, I have 17 favourite anime. Sorry, I was a bit close there. Um, so yeah, 17 or yes, and this will include manga as well, so it's even more than that to be honest. Um, We'll get into the manga at the end, but we'll focus on the anime. Because I do have an overall ranking with these, including the mangas and stuff, but I can give you a rough idea on what level they're on and that sort of stuff. Anyway, the anime, right? So let's go at number 17. We have Spy X Family, and it's a very simple show. It's very much a sitcom, so it's just up to you whether you like the sitcom style that they present or you don't, and that's really it. Because it really just feeds you the same thing, and if you like that thing, you will enjoy it. And obviously, that can get repetitive for people, and they all no longer like it, which is understandable. But yeah, Spy X Family is still airing. It's on season 2 currently, and we've just entered this arc, which I think is an amazing arc personally, and it has a very strong start. So I do think that will probably be staying in my favourites, and who knows, maybe it will go up in terms of ranking. Next favourite, number 16, might bring you back if you're an old time watcher, would be Angel Beats. Angel Beats was obviously aired in 2010 and is an anime original, and it's about life after death and basically kids who have died young and they kind of have to accept their death. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it because even the animation for its time is pretty decent. And yeah, it's definitely an emotional one and very unique. I would say it's pretty unique for um, what it gives you. It's and it also is very wacky, but also can be very serious at the same time. And I do like that about the show. Definitely one of the shows that I got. I started watching early on in my anime journey, but you know, it's a pretty good one. And yeah, it's kind of stayed in the same spot as I've found favorites over time. Um, so yeah, then we go into number 15, which will be 86. The Mecha show. I went into this show thinking it was going to be awful, and I ended up being one of my favorites. And I was like, oh my god, because there was this massive, kind of like loud group of people saying that this show was a masterpiece. It was amazing, and I agree with them. I really do. Um, So yeah, I really do love it. The characters are great, the twists are great, and didn't really see many of them coming. So the direction was so unique and interesting. You could see what they were doing with even just certain frames. They were really doing things cleverly, and I was like, wow. Because really, when it comes to visuals in anime, they don't really care because they'll just copy the manga, but because this was a light novel adaptation, they really went out their way to make the most unique framing and, shots ever, and I just thought it was really clever. And obviously, even the 3D CGI was absolutely fantastic within this, so the mechas looked really good. So, and it wasn't your stereotypical mecha with that looked like a guy. It was these unique, buggy things. I don't know what you would call them. But yeah, that's that. So now we're on number 14, which is Baki. No explanation there. Baki, I've watched it since it first came out, and it's just ended Baki Hanma season 2. So Baki and Baki Hanma are like separate series, but Baki Hanma finished the second season and had probably one of the biggest fights it'll ever have, to be honest. And I thought that fight just secured it in my favourites, and I was like, I love this show. This show is amazing, and it will stick with me forever because Baki is just so unique that you can't even describe why it's so unique. I think the most comparable show to it is JoJo, but even then, it feels very different from JoJo. So yeah, it is a very enjoyable show. I have not read ahead of the manga. I will explain shows that I have read ahead and not, and that will, you know, affect my judgment. Like Spy X Family, I have not read ahead. I'm watching it blind. Same with Baki, watching it blind. Next one is an anime that aired this year in 2023, which will be My Happy Marriage. Um, I loved it from episode one. The voice acting had me in tears every single episode. The voice actor for Mio just killed me. It was absolutely insane, and it was just nice and refreshing to get a wholesome romance, and that's the kind of romances I tend to like, is the wholesome kind, because I just want a romance that makes you feel happy, and it definitely is one of those ones, and the animation is beautiful. It's Evan Call's music. I'm a big fan of Evan Call, and yeah, he's also doing So So No Frieren. That is airing currently, and that is for me a potential favourite as well, but that might be in a future video. Who knows? Um, so yeah, I really do like My Happy Marriage. And obviously we've only got one season so far, and I've not read ahead in the manga because I do think I primarily enjoy the anime for this, because it was those external things like voice acting, music, animation, and those were the kind of the reasons why I liked it so much, because they went out their way to make those extra good. So yeah, I do think I'll just stick with the anime only on that one, and I don't think I'll regret that decision. And season two is already confirmed anyway, so I'll be looking forward to that. Next is Bloomin' to You. That might be a little bit controversial if you're against gay people, but um, just an amazing Yuri, you know. I not even just as a Yuri, it's probably one of the best romances in anime in my opinion, and it probably just gets overshadowed because it is Yuri, and it's kind of like similar to Given. Given will be overshadowed because it's a yaoi, and I just like this one obviously because the deep and dark themes it goes into are very interesting, and I started off with the anime and then I finished the manga, and it just what they continue to do in the manga just accelerates it even more, and it was a phenomenal piece of fiction, not just romance wise, but for psychology and mental health and all that sort of stuff. It was just an amazing piece of fiction that just spoke to me, and some things were kind of predictable in the story, but it was unique in its own right. Usually you have these romance anime, they'll have a theatre, they'll have a festival, they'll have all these things, and that's in your stereotypical romance anime. But what this one did was the same things, but it felt very different from other anime that did that, because usually for them it's a happy thing or an emotional thing, but this was like very deep and gritty and dark, and something that I think we need a bit more of in anime, but who knows. Um, Next we have Ranking of Kings. I won't be saying numbers anymore, I'll just go next. This will be so Ranking of Kings. Just it was quite funny with this because I actually watched it with people, the first 5 episodes, and I went, this is quite good. And then I put it on hold for ages, ages and ages. And then I was like, eventually, I was like, right, let's finish this, and I did. And I was like, this is absolutely amazing. I did not expect it to get this good. And then obviously it had its little mini series for 10 episodes that kind of fill in the gaps of the story, and I thought they slayed that, and I was like, oh my god, Ranking of Kings is amazing. Ranking of Kings, I did read ahead I do read ahead of the manga, and I'm caught up. At least I think so. So yeah, I do catch up with the manga for Ranking of Kings, and I got to say the story's going in a good direction. I genuinely do think so, and I'm looking forward to what it does in the future. Um, and I can't wait to see like another season. You know, it's so good, and yeah, it's very unique in terms of anime, isn't it? The art style, story, characters, they're all pretty unique. And that, I guess that's why it kind of jumps out to me. It really doesn't feel like an anime. And I think that's one of its strengths. It feels like just a cartoon that anyone can watch. It feels like its target audience reaches to many people. And then next we have, not a surprise, Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Obviously aired last year. When it aired, I was on holiday in Italy, so I couldn't watch it right away. But I was planning on watching it because I watched the trailer and I was like, oh my god, this looks fucking bananas, right? So I was like, this looks insane. So I'm definitely watching this. And then what happened to me was everyone had watched it. I was on holiday and I couldn't watch it because I didn't want to watch it on my shitty phone. And when I did, the subtitles were like just plain white and they blended in with all the colours. So if there was a white in the background, I couldn't see the subtitles. And I was like, that's shit. So I was like, I'll just wait until I get home, you know. And I actually watched it as soon as I got home. It was like the first thing I did. Um, and actually, that day I caught COVID on the plane. That was the only time I ever caught COVID on the plane, uh, on the way home with this anime. And yeah, I had this horrible taste in my mouth, and I was like, "Why do I have this horrible taste?" And it's like, ugh, you know. But I was like, "Nah, I'm watching this," and I loved it. I really did. And after COVID, I rewatched it and I heard that the dub was really good. So I was like, all right, I'll rewatch it in dub. And I was like, yeah, the dub is pretty fucking good. I would say I probably prefer it in sub, but that is just my opinion. And I think both are good, you know? So I did watch it twice. I don't know if rewatches are important. I've rewatched Angel Beats twice, the rest I haven't. So yeah, Overlord was an interesting one because it wasn't a favourite on first watch. It was a favourite on second watch. I rewatched seasons 1 to 3 when season 4 was coming out, so it was like last year. And I am not caught up with the light novels or the manga, just pure anime enjoyer. I don't give a shit that the CGI is bad. The show is just a guilty pleasure of mine. I think it's so fun and enjoyable, and probably the weakest season is season 2 because it has that lizard man arc and it's a bit slow, but other than that, I love it and it's just so much fun. I remember just going back and watching it and having so much fun. And the show even made me cry in season 1 uh, when I was watching it because when I was trying to recap myself for season 4, I tried to go to the manga and I was like, nah, it's just not the same. So I went back uh, and rewatched the anime, and there's this campfire scene with these people, and the campfire scene just got me so emotional. And yeah, it was just these people talking about their goals and their aspirations. And if you've not seen it, then you'll probably go, why did he get emotional at that? And then if you watch it, you'll understand why I got emotional at that bit. It was because I know what's going to happen next. So, yeah, next one. Actually, it might not even be 17 here. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, next is My Love Story. Probably it is my favorite romance and is, I think, criminally overlooked. I think it's hilarious. I think it's emotional. I think it's got really fun and interesting characters. I feel like the stories in it are very interesting. And I've even bought some of the manga, and I've read ahead of the manga because they didn't cover the full story within um, the the anime. So yeah, I did read ahead, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. But even just from season one alone, I was like, this is one of my favorites. You know, I was like halfway through the show, and I was like, if this show just stays this good, favorite, and it did. So yeah. Um, then we have the one and only One Piece. Yeah, One Piece. One Piece is no surprise. It's one of the biggest anime. You might be going, oh, why is it so low? Well, it has moved down over time, and it's just because I've continued to love the other ones above this even more, you know. And I've just kind of started to see the sort of, you know, lack of qualities it has, and how it's not really polished, you know, but it is good. You know, it is good, and it is one of the funnest animes to binge. You know, watching it weekly is a little bit less fun than binging it. See, when you're binging One Piece, it is the fucking funnest shit ever, but it does take up a lot of your time. But it is so much fun when you go in that One Piece phase. And see, when One Piece finishes, I'll probably go and rewatch it again or something. Who knows? It depends how I feel. Ask me then in 15 years or something. Who knows? Um, then we have Hunter x Hunter, which is no surprise as well. It's another shonen. Just think it's fun till the start until the end. It's really enjoyable, never drops in quality whatsoever for me personally. It is extremely consistent, it's really enjoyable. The best arc by a fucking mile is the Chimera Ant arc, and it's not even fucking close. That arc is absolutely exceptional. I think it has one of the best conclusions of any arc ever. So yeah, it's an amazing anime. Um, and I think the anime ends at a very good place for me to even just call it finished, because it is the end of Gon's story. So I think that's pretty good. And what happens in the manga next is pretty mental, although I couldn't process it properly because it was really confusing to me. But yeah, whatever. But yeah, an amazing favorite characters are Hisoka, Meruem, and Killua by far. Those three are the best in the show for me. And yeah, I'll go back over them all, and I'll tell you if I watch them in dub or sub if you're interested. So, but we'll go back to that, you know. And I've not caught up with the manga for Hunter x Hunter because I don't like the manga. I only like the anime. So, yeah. One Punch Man, one of my favorite manga and anime. Season one got me into it. Season two did have its issues, but I still think it was a good adaptation. Um, just not insanely good. Like season one's adaptation was insanely good for its time and was way ahead of its time. Um, so to compare them is a bit unfair, in my opinion. But yeah, I do love the manga. I've caught up with the manga. I think it's great. I'm loving it. I've been a fan since before season two was even out. So I've been a fan of One Punch Man for a long time. I've rewatched it many times. I've also rewatched Hunter x Hunter, by the way. If you're curious, that's what made me move above past One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, when after I finished the rewatch. But One Punch Man ages ago, season one was only out, and I rewatched that shit like fucking 7 times or something, just because I loved it that much. It was so good. And now I've got the manga. I've got all the English manga there. There's a volume missing because it's in my bag, so ignore that. So yeah. Next we have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which I am pretty much mainly an anime fan for. I have caught up with part 7 and part 8. Part 9, I've read a few chapters, but not too much. Um, but yeah, favourite part is part 6, which you might be surprised by, and I've only watched the anime for it. And I tried reading the manga for the parts that I've watched, but to me, I think with JoJo, it is purely an anime enjoyment thing. It's not really a manga enjoyment, and I think it's just because of the music and the voice acting and the colors and all that sort of thing. So, genuinely, when I do read JoJo, it is less enjoyable than the anime because I'm like, why do I need to read this when I can just go watch the anime? And that's just my personal opinion. I do think Araki's art is absolutely amazing. It's just the enjoyment and the other things that the anime gives you that make me find it more enjoyable. But I just think, part six is the best because it has the best conclusion, in my opinion. And I thought that conclusion just left me in an emotion that no other ending has. And I thought it was probably my favorite ending ever. And that is insane because it probably has a better ending than my number one anime. Because yeah, but you could say, oh, it's not actually finished, but he reset it in part seven, so it is an ending, right? Because he's restarted the universe, he's restarted the story. It is kind of connected, but whatever. And you'll probably be surprised that, oh my god, part seven's not your favorite part. I just think it's a little overrated. I'm sorry. I do like it, and I can't wait for an anime adaptation of it because I think I'll probably enjoy it more if that happens. But yeah. Just not one of my favourites. That's all. Um, then we have Vinland Saga. I have caught up with the manga on this, by the way, and the manga is due to end within the next 10 months or something. And yeah, and then obviously there's still probably two more seasons to be adapted. That is an estimation of how many seasons it will take, but yeah, I think it's approximately going to be two more seasons because the way it is structured, it is structured for pretty much four seasons, bang on. So, yeah, sorry. Um, yeah, Vinland Saga. It's just so good, and a lot of people say the season two that just finished is the peak Vinland Saga, but to me, it's what season three will bring that is peak Vinland Saga for me personally. Genuinely, I think that the next arc is my favorite arc that is going to happen in season three. So you know, you might be surprised. You might go, "Oh my god, season two was so good," and it was just peak. And yeah, and I was really scared for this season two because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. I don't know, and I was scared that I wasn't because I loved season one. I even rewatched season one in advance, and I felt like I enjoyed season one much more. And I don't know if it was because I'd aged and I got a lot more into it. Like I understood a lot more, and I don't know if that was the case, but yeah, I love it. I love it so much. And I would say now, because I've caught up with the manga, I would say Thorfinn is easily my favourite character. So yeah. Number two, not really a shocking one. I am caught up with the manga on this one, and it's Chainsaw Man. I love Chainsaw Man so fucking much, and I love pretty much everything that Tatsuki Fujimoto produces. And I thought season one was an amazing adaptation. And once Mappa fixes its issues with its studio, I can't wait for season two because I think season two will just blow fucking anime only's minds. And yeah, it's just so fucking good, bro. I just love it so much. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I just love it so much. There's so many characters and so many themes that I just love. And yeah, that I just love it so much, man. I don't know what it is, but yeah. It only recently moved up to number two, but I just thought like I can't get it off my mind, and it's like my favorite manga. So yeah, it just moves on, man. Just moves up. Anyway, the number one of all time is Violet Evergarden. You may go, what the fuck is that, Adam? What is Violet Evergarden? Oh my god. Violet Evergarden is the anime that everyone has heard of but nobody has watched. Seems to be what it is. Um, I was a fan of this pretty much as soon as it came out. So 5 years ago in 2018, I watched it. I loved it. and it's been my favourite pretty much ever since. I mean, I did watch Parasite back in the day, and that made me question, oh, is Violet my favourite? You know, I was like, I think Parasite's my new favourite. But then that made me re-watch Violet Evergarden, and I was like, nah, it's not even close. Nah, Violet's my favourite. And I've just stuck with it ever since. And I don't know what it is about Violet Evergarden, but it just sticks with me. And anytime the music plays, because it's Evan Cole, this was probably, if you know who Evan Cole is, this was, you probably saw this coming. Um, but yeah, it's just, oh my god, anytime his music plays that's from Violet Evergarden, fucking goosebumps. It's like I'm taken to another world, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's just insane. I love the show, I love the characters, I love the story, I love the animation, because Kyoto Animation is just the best studio for animation, isn't it? Could you imagine if they animated a high action shonen? It would be amazing. But they're not gonna do that. But we can dream, we can dream. Um yeah, but I just love Violet Garden. It's so good. And then the movie came out, and obviously it didn't come to Netflix until like a year after it came out in Japan, like over a year actually. So I had to fucking sit there and wait, and I was like, "When's this fucking movie coming out, brother?" I was just wanting the movie to come out, and then I watched it, and I was like, "This is just makes it even better." And yeah, I loved the movie was controversial for a small minority, but I think most people really like the movie. Um, I would even go as far as to say the movie is better than the series. It's insane how the sequel movie is just that fucking good. I even rewatched the movie. I've rewatched the movie twice, and I've watched Violet Evergarden twice, or rewatched Violet Evergarden, the main series, twice. There is a side movie, and that's decent. There is a special, love the special. But yeah, I don't know if Violet Evergarden will ever be beaten. I think it's just because it's been there for so long that I can't really just go, yes, let's get rid of it. I just can't. It's just. It's too good, but as you know, Vinland Saga, Chainsaw Man, JoJo, fucking One Punch Man, Hunter x Hunter, maybe, um, One Piece. All these anime haven't ended, and they're right behind. You know what I mean? So who's to say when they end that I might go, bye Violet? And as I said, JoJo I thought had a better ending than Violet Evergarden, and I think it's the only show ever to do that, and it's at number fucking 4. You know what I mean? So that's insane. Anyway, let's go over manga. Um, I like the Darling in the Franxx manga. It's one of my favourites, but not the anime because the anime had some weird shit in it. Although this does show tits, the manga, so that's the only controversial thing. I don't give a shit. Why not? The Summer You Were There is a favourite. It's only got 30 chapters right now, but it is looking to be my favourite Yuri, but I'm still undecided on that because it is fucking awesome story. It's depressing as shit, but it's really good. The Dragon Ball manga, I did not grow up with Dragon Ball, unfortunately. I only read it this year. And yes, I decided to read it because for some reason, Toei Animation do not have it on any streaming platform. Pretty dumb because it is the biggest anime in the world. So, other than maybe Pokemon, but yeah, you would think you would fucking lob that shit on Netflix and it would just get in loads of views. But nah. So I just had to go online and read the manga, and I fucking loved it. It was so fun. It's such a fun manga. It really is. It's so fun. Yeah, and then one of the top tier favorites that's probably I would put above One Piece and just behind Hunter x Hunter is Fire Punch, which is another one of the Chainsaw Man's works, and there's no anime for it, but the manga is This manga is so good, by the way. It's so fucked and weird and just morally questionable, but it is so good. I recommend it. If you want something that's just completely fucked up, Fire Punch is your go to. Fire Punch is what I thought Berserk was gonna be, but it wasn't, you know. So, you know. But yeah. That is all my favourites of anime. Let's go sub or dub real quick. Fire round, Spy X Family, sub. Angel Beats, dub. 86, dub. Baki, I started in dub, but recently for the new season I swapped to sub. I don't know why. I just felt like it fit better. I don't know. I've changed with that show. My Happy Marriage, sub. Bloom to You, I watched in dub. But then I went to the manga, so it doesn't matter. Ranking of Kings, sub. Cyberpunk Edgerunners, both, but I would say I would slightly prefer the sub. Overlord, by a mile dub. Not even close. Have you heard Ainz's voice in the English dub? Fuck me. My Love Story, sub. One Piece, sub. Hunter x Hunter, dub, because if I was trying to read all that shit, my brain would explode, but with the amount of explanations, so I need to listen to it, just for it to go easier on my brain, my smooth brain, my dumbass brain. One Punch Man dub, because I watched it very early on, and I think the dub is probably one of the best dubs I've heard for One Punch, honestly. Jojo, I like both. I obviously watched it first in dub because I watched it very early on, but I would say I prefer the sub now. But I do like the dub. The dub is good for that. Finland Saga sub because I watched it on Amazon Prime, and that was back in the day when that was the only thing it was on. So sub. Chainsaw Man sub, but the dub is good. I have heard lots of clips, so it is good. And then Violet Evergarden is dub. Dub, because I cannot get over the fact they say Violetto with an O at the end. It just feels weird, right? No. And obviously I first watched it in dub, so it's got that connection. So there you go. Yeah, that is pretty much it. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Don't be shy. Just leave a comment. I'll fucking respond. I've got no life. Let's go. I mean, I'm spouting this for half an hour. That clearly shows that. But you know, yeah, that's it. Any questions? Put them down below. Maybe put your favourites down in the comments and explain why and stuff like that. And we can, have a civil, hopefully a civil debate. And don't come at me with your dubs trash comments because I'll just fucking delete them. So yeah, peace.